Servus, konbanwa. Wir machen weiter mit dem Kampf. Aoko Aosaki versus der Puppe. Mentally, Aoko bemoaned in the disaster she was in. The quality of the puppet was a completely different level compared to the one from Park 2 days ago. An auto-incantating perpetual machine was a rarity in and of itself, but this puppet was also equipped for battle with its extending arms and Gandhi projecting crystallized eyes. It was a first-class product that, if put on the market, would sell for hundreds of millions of yen. Although that was only when factoring its value as an antiquity. For the purpose of combat, it would have made more sense to mobilize a significantly less expensive familiar, to use such a oppressive community as a tool for murder, market this Puppenmonster as a completely different breed of crazy from the enemies she had faced up until now. Ich gehe alleine. Ah, das hast du schon mal gesagt. As sound of a cracking box füllte er. The automat animated by its own curses approached. The corridor measured approximately 30 feet in length. Aoko lay in wait around the corner, further down the hall, anticipating the puppet's appearance. This was not to buy such little time to escape, far from it. Aoko concluded that she couldn't make a break for it under the current circumstances. Even she did try to escape it, by some miracle made it out of the house mirrors. That was as far as she would go. Outside with no cover, Aoko would quickly be overtaken and skewered from behind. As long as her mission was disabled, escape was impossible. Instead, she chose to force the enemy back. The situation was not the most favorable, but neither was the puppet's. Also, this narrow hall gave Aoko no place to run. It in turn prevented the puppet from reaching full speed. That was the weak point of this machine. Automata of its era had a tendency to struggle with minute changes in speed. Connecting. She flowed energy into her short circuits. Her blood flow measure energy supply were unstable. It would be difficult to construct a formula in this state. All she could do was harden her right arm by imbuing it with as much energy as she could. Doing so turned her arm into an improvised weapon like a hammer or a bat, assuming she could manage to get into close combat range. This was the best she could do. All she needed now was a plan of attack. The question was not what weapon to use, but how to use the weapon she had. The simplest way would be to use the mirror's reflection to hide and then rush the puppet from its blind spot, except for one major problem. It did not have a sense of sight in the first place. The puppet's view of the world around it doesn't stem from visual feedback, but from mapping the topography of its surroundings. In theory, it was the same as a bass echelon. The environment could make measures based on the emission and return of high-frequency sound waves. Those chants served as sensor pulses. As far as the puppet was concerned, the mirrors were no better than transparent paints, making even the fall of an ambush laughable.
近づけば近づくほどよりリアルに察知される。本当は遠距離からの狙撃が最適なんだけど、ガンドを撃ってくるならフィンの一撃ぐらい隠してるわよね。
Gandhi was a Scandinavian in origin, and considering its simplicity, highly versatile. It was most effective at impairing a target's health by pointing a finger. As a single action measure, it was limited to only causing illness, but there was a secret technique said to be the greatest mastery of the Gandhi shot. The Finn shot. It could do more than cause simple illness. It was a deadly curse that could stop the heart. The wound to her back set her nerves afire. An unarmed girl and a deadly automaton. It was clear that she was the one destined for death. She considered her slim chance of survival when a visit sent chills down her spine. Quietly using everything she could to clamp down on the feeling Aoko faced her all too familiar illusion. She glanced her teeth to keep them from waking at the deafening clatter, but there's the sensation of fingers crawling up her neck. Pointer, the spectre stared and laughed. This allowed me Aoko want to bolt. On top of it all, when Aoko tried to mentally simulate the coming fight, she estimated the 2 over 10 chance of dying in the first 5 seconds. 20% of the times her predictions were harsher than reality. If Aoko fought the puppets 10 times, she would die twice. She could not stop herself from visualizing her own corpse. She imagined herself collapsing, crumbling under the puppet's curse. Her eyeballs swollen like a blowfish, blood and other fluids oozing for everybody office. 1 in 5, 1 in 5, 1 in 5. A 1 in 10 chance of death was bad enough, but 1 in 5? It drove her crazy. Aoko forced down her heart as it tried to escape from her mouth. Also, ich mag solche Dinge, wo man die Kampf schon vorher vorstellen kann. Der Charakter taking a deep breath, she peered at her own reflection. She thought back to that white night half a year ago. This, they said, was nothing compared to that. 6 months ago, at the Konji estate, the Hound of White Roses, the Wandersnatch that appeared from within the thick fog, had killed Aoko 100 times out of 10. 100 Mal von 10? Okay.
Mehr anima brutalis, otem aftura negata sunt. Manes sum, animam definira ambiguum est.
A dark curse shattered Aoko's daydream. It was only 30 feet away. The puppet rounded the corner. Even as looked into the shadows, their forms indistinct. The puppet gave no warning. Without preamble, it swiftly fired a Gandhi barrage. Just like a plan, the curse fizzled out as they hit her mist-like barrier of magical energy. The projection would only last a few seconds, giving her just enough time to... Its slashable spear sprang towards Aoko's face.
Bingo!
The lethal weapon grazed her cheek. All experience analyzing a puppet attacks, Paladin gave her referral to evade the attack by a hair's breadth. It was one thing a puppeteer by pulling the strings, but automatic dolls set the limitations. Aoko had bet everything on his killing machines following a predefined template. The puppet would use a given attack for a given range, and she could adjust her tactics to that. Before its arm had a chance to fully retract, she charged the puppet. It was a risky gamble, but her overall chances were slim to begin with. The scales tipped in her favor. If her prediction were correct, there were 2 ways she would die. One was from a thin shot fired at that range, and the other was the puppet's attack pattern was beyond her ability to foresee. They say there's mass transfer, otherwise known as mass displacement. Immediately after Aoko dodged the puppet's arm, something smashed into her abdomen. The head-on collision from his shoulder felt like a rocket. But where had the ability to propel itself come from? Puppets like this were not built to have the ability to jet around like that. Doing everything in her power to stay conscious, in spite of the pain, Aoko could just make out what happened. Yes, the puppet's arm had not returned to his body. It was lodged in the wall and reeled itself in from the other direction. Swallowing her surprise, she hastily pulled herself back up. Her abdomen, specifically her diaphragm, had been dialed with a significant blow. The attack left her disorientated. Thankfully, the puppet was surprisingly lightweight, and her bones and organs were intact, that she had sustained alive. No threatening damage. She was having a hard time for breathing, however. She was shaken through the... Though she managed to keep her calm. In another 2 seconds, she would be back on her feet. That was 2 seconds too long. She told herself to calm down, that she was already calm. She had only briefly lost her bearings. She was fine. She could not recover her breath and her vision later, if only her body would move. Above, Aoko could hear the abrupt noise of the powerful force. She could once more feel the touch of death. Grant us salvation. Grant us salvation. Grant us salvation. The puppet wasn't close and Aoko could reach out and touch it. It also meant it could reach out and kill Aoko. Beautician Aoko alone rolled over the puppet's right flank. Its arm was still embedded within its wall. From there to not attack. She had made the right decision, and her dizziness faded. Cast off righteousness, lay piety to rest. We bearers are meant to consume each other. Life is but a decoration. Throw away your intellect. Pain powers the mind. Aoko put herself back up. It was her turn. It was only an instant. Within the labyrinth of mirrors, she saw an image of herself. We die. A blinding brilliant light flashed. Laceration appeared across the wall. At the last moment, Aoko managed to thicken the magical energy running through her veins to a primitive form of magecraft resistance. It just barely saved her life from what must have been the puppet's ace in the hole. The puppet bore a striking resemblance to Aoko. This powerful curse was not satisfied with stopping Aoko's heart, but destroying her entire being. Aoko did not even have the time to be shocked. This was her chance for a counter-attack. The puppet's breath was unsteady, the right arm still embedded in the wall. Could prepare to give its defenseless body a strong kick, but her knees cackled and she collapsed into a heap on the floor. In slumber I live, in dirt I rot alone. Today is the day I died and was born. I come to you. A sudden and lightheadedness overcame Aoko. Her body temperature began to rapidly lower. She notices it's too late. The puppet curses the circle to hell. The curse chant that the puppet used as a source of power doubled as a defense mechanism, crippling those who drew near with illness. She bore the full brunt the entire time. She was in close proximity to it. Although Aoko's circus was succumbing just as Soshiro said. Languidly, she forced her deteriorating body to jump back. With all the energy she could muster, she forced her way past the exhaustion caused by the curse. However, Aoko's blood pressure took a step nosedive from the curse-induced anemia, but from what appeared in front of her, they stood in perfect harmony. In front of Aoko was also matter that shared her face, its left arm held out like an arrow. The deadly weapon shot forward and hunted on her heart. Then a moment before it made contact. The moment she heard the fearless voice completely out of place in the storm of violence, Aoko's body was pulled forcibly to the side. Once again, the extending arm cut through empty air. While the puppet quickly retracted its arm, Soshiro took the brief opportunity to take Aoko by the hand and flee at full speed. Soshiro ran through the corridor as fast as he could, only stopped when he had put enough distance between them and the puppet. Though he had saved her, she looked angry rather than grateful. This did not keep Soshiro from saying his piece. In other words, let's finish this today. I rather offer a proposal. Aoko remained silent. She was also rather angry. Not that she could not figure out what made him tick, nor because he would return after escaping, not even because he was spouting his typical airheaded lines. It was, she supposed, that instant. The fact when he grabbed her hand, her mind had gone completely blank. Aoko found this unforgivable. Which became the response. In the heat of a moment, she blurted before she could stop herself.
それとも自殺願望でもあったわけ。私もあいつもあんたなんか殺す対象に過ぎないのよ。少なくとも恩を売る相手じゃない。言っとくけど、私助けられたぐらいで曲がる信念は持ち合わせていないから。
So she was clearly up-trapped.
青崎がそんな可愛らしいもんじゃないのはこの夜だけで骨身に染みてるよ。
She found herself slightly offended.
けど君は勘違いをしてるから少し正そう。あいつの狙いは青崎だけじゃない。君だけじゃなく俺も殺す気だと思う。
Was having none of it. Her eyes shot daggers in his way.
話は最後まで聞く。どうしてかっていうと、1階の入り口あるだろ、あの細長い通路。なんでかあそこから先に進めないんだ。逃げたくても逃げ出せなくて仕方なく戻ってきた。
Aoko's eyes widened ever so slightly in amazement. Not over shock, but rather admiration that her enemy would go to such lengths.
さっきので完全に敵扱いされた。あの人形、こっちをじろっと睨んできたし。いや、一瞬でよく見えなかったけど、生きた心地しなかったな。青崎も気をつけた方がいい。多分よっぽど怖い顔をしているに違いないぞ、あれ。
See at Aoko's face.
それはご親切にどうも。
なんでこれはもう他人事じゃないんだ。青崎と人形、結論としてどっちが勝っても俺は殺されてしまうんじゃないか。
そうね。そこまでやってるなら目撃者は消すでしょうね。私みたい。
だろう。でも俺はあいつには殺されたくない。
え？
His words were decisive. As Oko looked up at him, she could swear he was trying to encourage her. Oh, was für ein netter Mann. Ich mag Soshiro. It was then that she realized Soshiro was looking even worse than before.
ちょっと待って。大丈夫なの？あなた。
まあ醤油を一升瓶飲むよりはマシではないかと。
He tried to make the light of his situation, but his forehead was clearly drenched in sweat.
そうか。さっき人形に近づいたから。
How could the boss be able to withstand a curse that made even Oko no sayers? She bit her lip, annoyed at herself for not noticing this earlier. So she was such an airhead that she hadn't even paused to consider his plight.
下で隠れていようとか思わなかったの？その方がどう考えても安全でしょ？
She could not understand him at all.
それは青崎が言うセリフじゃないな。でもまあ長話をしている時間もない。そろそろ追いついてくる頃だ。
He turned to look down the corridor. The crackling sounds of music box could be heard creeping forth from the darkness.
さっき1階にいて考えたんだ。君がやられても俺は殺される。ならまず奴をどうにかするべきだ。
あなた、何が言いたいの？
She asked a question to which she already knew the answer. She did not put him to the test. If he wondered even a little, she would have killed him where he stood. If he wavered even a little.
提案。あいつをやっつけるのに協力したら、俺のことを見逃してくれる？
助けられたぐらいじゃ信念は曲げないって言ったでしょ。それに、あなたに何ができるっていうの？
それは青崎が考えてくれ。得意だろ、そういうの。
The commander, with the overall picture, was responsible for delegating roles to the teammates. It was futile to depend on someone who was unable to grasp the situation or evaluate the enemy's strength, so he was proud to share that he knew this. He spoke the truth. Oko was the only one who knew both Soshiro and the automata. That was the way he pointed out that following her orders to best of his abilities was the only thing he could do. It may have seemed as tough. Soshiro had surrendered his capacity for self-thought, but in fact, in accepting that he was helpless, he was in fact giving Oko his complete trust. Das stimmt.
じゃあ、私の指示に 100% 従うってこと？
ああ。それにこれは恩とか義理の話じゃない。一人だと分が悪いから二人でかかるだけだ。善意でも好意でもない。取引って言わないか？
Solche Worte aus seinem Mund. His eyes sparkled as it was buttoning in its truest form. The child must have learned that from Tuimaro, Oko thought. Though she refused to let him see it, and underneath she dragged a smile. Sure, he had gotten the best of her just now, but there were times when defeated was not the worst outcome in the world.
労働と報酬ってわけね。それなら理にかなってる。うん。言いたくないけど。
She shakes her shoulders and sighed. Her face cracked into a wicked smile, as if her fears had suddenly washed away.
それ、結構私の好みよ。
Oko repaid Soshiro's trust in equal measure.
結構きついかもね。あなたの役目。
Aoko wants to moving as fast as she could with her footfalls causing a din of noise. So she remained near the center of the spiral maze on the second floor.
実を言うと、もう一つ用意しておいた仕掛けがあるの。自分でもやりすぎだって呆れたもんだけど、あなたがここに来るのが遅かったから。ちょっ。
仕掛けって俺用の?
So she turned his head like a smaller Aoko freely discussed the final ace up her sleeve.
地下の柱に着火型のちょっとした魔術式を刻んでおいたの。中心の柱に点火することで連鎖的に他の柱に仕掛けた魔術も起動する。ジャミングを食らう前に作ったものだから、直接魔力を叩き込めば一気にこういくわ。
So she was a little unsettling on how angry the last bit was.
青崎、こうじゃわからない。できるだけ明確にどこまで爆破する気だったのか白状してくれ。もしかして俺早まったか？
いや、その単なる保険っていうか、追いかけっこの途中であんたを見失ったらいっそ建物ごと爆破しちゃおうかなって。
It was a policy to be fought throughout to the end. After all, she laughed in embarrassment, saying it out loud though.
いくらなんでも徹底しすぎてる。
Facing Aoko's cruelty, Sojiro forgot about the situation at hand and protested from the bottom of his heart.
何よ、いいじゃない。そのおかげでなんとかなりそうなんだから。
She shot back. Aoko dashed down the corridor, mumbling things that probably would have sent Sojiro packing if he had them. The strategy was simple. Aoko would use the escape route to the right to avoid the puppet while making her way down to the basement. Upon reaching the center pillar, she refused the formula she had prepared with magic energy and escape. Once ignited, it would take about a minute for the chain reaction to spread through the whole of mirrors, and another minute for the building to collapse. She would be cutting it a little close, but because she had committed the maze so early, she was sure she would make it out in time. Who assumed the chain reaction caused by the pillar would clear the barrier the puppet had placed at the entrance. And even if it was strong enough to withstand the blast, it would not be able to stay standing once the foundation buckled. Shiro's escape was assured as long as the formula in the basement was activated. Next came the most important part. The Armatron was a disadvantage in the opposite Latin house of mirrors, and it was unable to move at full speed. It was near the center of the second floor when the building collapsed. It would be caught up and crushed by it. So the problem was keeping the puppet on the second floor until Aoko could make it down to the basement. Ideally, he would be able to keep it busy until she could activate the formula. If that failed to work, him luring it down to the first floor would be the next best thing. She understood perfectly well the danger she was putting Sojiro in, but his lucky streak and running speed were nothing to scoff at.
ただ逃げるだけなら、もしかしてとんでもないことをしてくれるかも。はい。
Could make her way through the hidden passage of the maze, her hopes pinned on Sojiro. Meanwhile, well out of earshot, Sojiro was readying himself for another desperate chase. He calmed his beating heart using a method of his own making. Oh man. What better than most was that he remained calm. The plan was simple enough, and the Aoko orders were succinct and easy to understand.
10メートルぐらいの距離を保って、できるだけゆっくり通路を3、4周すること。横道は鏡のつなぎ目で覚えて。ここなら左回りで6、3、7、2枚目にあるから、そこをぐるぐる回ってれば比較的安全よ。
It was essentially a looping marathon. As long as Sojiro maintained a distance on the puppet's extended arm, and it just enough that she could continue to track him, she could constantly chasing him indefinitely. Simple enough of task, Toshiro was putting its life on its line as a bait. And then there was the final order to run as fast as he could, to exit when the building began to spoil.
結構じゃなくてかなりきついんじゃないかなこれ。
He nervously struck his head out from around the corner. He could hear the sound of the music box from the other side of the corridor. First he had to make eye contact with it, then head through the shortcut on the right and begin the game of tag. He spotted and braced himself. Closer, closer. Feeling that her arm could fly at him at any moment, he bent over Aoko's instructions in his head. However, he could not quite remember which pane led to the first hidden passage. The third, the sixth, the ninth? No. He was sure that it was mistaken. He was confident he'd memorized moments ago, but his nerves had gotten to the best of him and his head was not spinning. Das kann ja was werden. Then, Toshiro realized that she could sound of his pursuer was beginning to growing distant at an incredible speed. The unusual silhouette of the puppet astonished him. Before it had taken the form of a beautiful girl. But now it made its side transformation and returned to the first floor to pursue her primary target. Shiro was no longer knew what to do. With not even the time to mourn his failure, the puppet had vanished out of sight. I'll be helped, just let me go. Or so he said, but now he could not follow through. Alone, he tilted his head in frustration. He spoke into the darkness where Aoko would be here to answer him. That very moment, having arrived at the first floor, Aoko quickly understood what happened transpired above her. She did not even have the strain to her ears to hear the puppet. Even during the heyday, that destruction had never made sound like one she had coming toward her now. It was the sound of despair, as the horde of a monstrous hedgehog was scraping their way past the mirrors in her direction. Da ich leider ein bisschen Kopfschmerzen habe, beenden wir es hier und machen hoffentlich morgen weiter. Frohen Humbug euch alle!